If you've ever looked at the stars and felt they were speaking to you, if you've ever walked into a room and sensed energies no one else acknowledged, if you've ever felt like your dreams were more real than your waking life, then what I'm about to reveal may shatter your understanding of who you are and awaken something ancient that has been sleeping inside you. This is not just a video. This is a spiritual initiation. And if you're still here after the first minute, it's because your soul remembers something your mind has forgotten. We're talking about 7 signs you were born to be a visionary chosen one, but never knew it. And I need you to know this isn't hype. This isn't a game.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
This is real. We're diving deep into mysteries that many live their entire lifetimes avoiding. But you're here now. That already says something. Let's go back to the beginning before you were born. Because the truth is, some souls are encoded with a unique blueprint, a spiritual contract, a divine architecture that sets them apart not in ego, but in purpose. They are seeded into this world as visionaries, not to dominate it, but to awaken it, not to escape it, but to transform it. And most of them have no idea who they are. Why? Because the world is designed to keep you asleep. You are born into a system that teaches you to value logic over intuition, facts over feelings, and conformity over consciousness. You are taught to suppress your knowing, to reject your uniqueness, to fit into molds that have nothing to do with your essence. And the most ironic part, you probably thought you were the broken one. You thought your sensitivity was a weakness. Your vivid dreams were just imagination. Your inability to fit in was a flaw. But what if the very things you were taught to hide are actually the signs? What if those signs are proof that you were born to be a visionary chosen one? Let's activate the first code. Sign 1. You've always felt different, and you couldn't explain why. Not better. Not worse. Just different. You could be in a room full of people and still feel like you were seeing the world through a different lens. You noticed things others didn't. Energies, patterns, inconsistencies in people's words and their energy. You saw through the masks. But you kept quiet, didn't you? Because when you shared what you saw, others didn't understand. Maybe they laughed. Maybe they called you too sensitive, too intense, too weird. But what if I told you that this difference is not a glitch, it's a design? What if your soul chose to be encoded with a heightened awareness so that you could see beyond the illusion? You weren't meant to fit in. You were meant to see what others cannot. You were meant to remember what others have forgotten. Here's a question for you, and I want you to really sit with it. What if your difference is the doorway to your destiny? You see, every visionary chosen one goes through the same test in the beginning. The test of isolation. The test of not belonging. The test of self-rejection. Why? Because before you can guide others into their truth, you must walk through the fire of your own. Sign 2. You receive messages in ways others dismiss. Dreams, numbers, animals crossing your path at strange moments, people saying things that feel like code, recurring symbols, Synchronicities so bizarre they make your skin tingle. You've had these, haven't you? And maybe you brushed them off. Or maybe you started to wonder if the universe was speaking to you, but then you convinced yourself it was just coincidence. But here's the secret. There is no such thing as coincidence in a conscious universe. What you call synchronicity is actually the language of the unseen world. It's how your higher self, your guides, and the intelligence of the universe communicate with you, because they know that the chosen ones are not asleep. They are listening. Some of you have had dreams that came true. Some of you have heard a voice in your head that wasn't yours, but it gave you clarity in a moment of crisis. Some of you have felt chills up your spine when you stood in certain places or met certain people. These are not random. These are reminders. They are triggering your memory, because deep down, you already know. Let me ask you something deeper. When was the last time you trusted something that couldn't be explained and it changed everything? That's your power. Logic is a useful tool, but intuition is your compass. And the chosen ones are always guided by a compass others can't see. Sign 3. You've experienced deep pain that cracked you open. This one, it's not glamorous. It's not fun. It's the part of the path that no one talks about in spiritual circles. But every visionary chosen one goes through what I call the sacred breakdown. You know what I mean. The moment when everything you thought you were shatters. The betrayal, the loss, the illness, the depression, the identity crisis, the dark night of the soul. And in that moment, you had two choices: break completely or awaken. You chose to awaken, maybe not all at once, but something inside you refused to die. Something inside you knew this pain meant something. It was the death of your false self. Because the chosen ones must be broken open before they can channel light. You can't carry divine vision through an ego shell. The pain is the purification. The fire is the forge. And here's the truth. Your deepest wound is also your greatest initiation. Think about it. What if the thing that almost destroyed you was actually the thing that unlocked your power? You didn't go through all of that for nothing. You went through it because your soul was being tempered like steel in fire, so that you could carry the weight of a vision this world has never seen. Sign 4. You feel called to something greater, but you can't define it. This one haunts you, doesn't it? That feeling like there's something you're supposed to be doing, somewhere you're supposed to be going, someone you're supposed to become, but you don't know what it is. You've tried jobs, relationships, even spiritual paths, but none of them feel like it. There's always this echo, this ache, this whisper that says, there's something more. Let me tell you something I learned while meditating in the Himalayas with monks who hadn't spoken in years. That ache is not confusion. That ache is your soul tugging at the leash of your conditioning. That ache is your mission trying to wake you up. It's not supposed to be clear yet, because your mission isn't found. It's revealed as you walk the path of courage. You don't wait for clarity to act. You act, and clarity finds you. The chosen ones don't follow a map. We become the map. Let me ask you this. What if your confusion is actually sacred? What if it's guiding you to walk the path no one else could walk because it was made for you alone? That's the truth. The vision isn't out there. The vision is you unfolding. Sign 5. You are a mirror for others' transformation. Have you ever noticed that just by being you, people open up to you? They tell you their secrets. They cry in front of you. They feel safe in your presence, even strangers. This is not random. Your energy is activating something in them. You don't even have to say much. Your presence shifts people. You are a walking portal, a mirror, a trigger, a lighthouse. Some people love you for it. Others fear you because your light reveals what they're hiding. You have the gift of seeing truth, and that's not always comfortable. But it's necessary, because the visionary chosen ones are not here to please. We are here to awaken, and awakening is messy. It shakes things up. It burns illusions. It exposes shadows. But it also liberates. You don't need to be a teacher to be a guide. You don't need a platform to be a beacon. You don't need permission to carry medicine. You are the medicine. And I want to ask you something very real. What if your presence alone is enough to begin someone else's healing? Are you willing to accept that kind of responsibility? Because that's what's being asked of you now. Sign 6. You've always been drawn to the mystical, the ancient, the unknown. While others were satisfied with surface-level answers, you wanted the truth. You read ancient texts. You studied symbols. You questioned everything. You were fascinated by the stars, by other dimensions, by lost civilizations. You felt like you were remembering something, not learning it. That's because you were. The visionary chosen ones are often old souls. We've walked this earth before. We've carried wisdom across lifetimes. And when we encounter it again, it feels like home. You are not just curious. You are remembering your lineage. And that mystical hunger you feel, that desire to know what lies beyond the veil, it's sacred. Because the visionary doesn't just live in this world. We walk between worlds. We are the bridge between heaven and earth, spirit and matter, past and future. And here's a question that could change your life. What ancient wisdom is trying to awaken through you right now? Don't dismiss your obsessions. They are clues. They are breadcrumbs left by your soul. Sign 7. You feel the future inside you. This is the most profound. You don't just see what is. You feel what could be. You look at the world and see possibilities no one else sees. You imagine new systems, new ways of living, new ways of being. And sometimes it overwhelms you because you see how far we are from what's possible. But this is your gift. You are not here to adapt to the world. You are here to reimagine it. You are a visionary. You are a chosen one, and your visions are not fantasies. They are instructions from the future, sent into the present through you. What will you do with them? Because they are not just for you. They are for us. And the more you deny them, the more the world stays in darkness. So let me leave you with this question. If your visions are the seeds of the future, What are you planting with your life? Now that you've seen the signs, now that something inside you is stirring, awakening, maybe even trembling with recognition, the question becomes, why you? Why were you born with this blueprint? Why were you given this vision, this sensitivity, this sacred discomfort that won't leave you alone? There's a prophecy written into the soul of every visionary. It's not written in words or scriptures. It's encoded in experience, carved into your pain, hidden in your longings. It's not outside you, it is you. And it goes like this. At the turning of the age, the world will forget itself. It will worship systems over souls, prophets over purpose, and fear over truth. In that time, ancient souls will awaken. They will remember what was forgotten. They will carry codes of light, not in temples, but in their hearts. And through them, a new world will be born not by force, but by frequency. You are one of those souls. This isn't about being special. This isn't about status or superiority. This is about sacred function. Every soul has a function in the body of humanity. Some are born to hold the line. Some are born to serve. Some are born to dismantle. Others, like you, are born to envision. You are the eyes in the dark. You are the dreamers who never stop dreaming. You are the soul architects of the next era. But here's the divine paradox. You can't fulfill the prophecy if you're still trying to be normal. You can't unlock your soul's mission while hiding from your soul's truth. You weren't called to this path to be comfortable. You were called to be consecrated. So let's go deeper. Let's talk about why you were chosen. First, understand this. The universe does not waste energy. You were not born with these capacities by accident. Your sensitivity, your intensity, your imagination, your inner knowing, these are not random traits. They are tools, instruments, seeds, and they were given to you because your soul volunteered for a mission. Yes, volunteered. Before you incarnated, you saw the state of the world. You saw the suffering, the separation, the sleep. And you said, "Send me. I will go. I will remember who I am. I will carry the light through the darkness. I will awaken others." But when you entered this world, the veil of forgetting wrapped around you, just like it does for all of us. You forgot your origin, your why, your mission, until now. Because now the veil is thinning. The signs are becoming louder. The dreams are becoming more vivid. The inner pull is becoming unbearable to ignore. And that's not random either, because the time is now. We are living in a moment where the old systems are crumbling. The illusions are breaking. People are searching, desperate, not for more content, but for contact. Not for more noise, but for truth. Not for more power, but for purpose. And that's where you come in. Because you weren't chosen to be a consumer. You were chosen to be a creator of reality. But first, you must choose to remember. And remembering is not a passive act. It is a radical, courageous rebellion against forgetfulness, against conformity, against fear. So let's talk about the 3 stages of awakening to your visionary path. Stage 1, Disruption, this is where most of us begin unconsciously. Something happens that shakes us. It could be a loss, a betrayal, a failure, burnout, a mystical experience, a moment of such intensity that it fractures our ordinary perception. And in that crack, something ancient peeks through. You start to question everything: your career, your relationships, your beliefs, your identity. Nothing feels stable. Everything feels surreal. This is not a breakdown. This is a breakthrough. This is the soul saying, you can't keep living like this. Many people resist this stage. They numb it, distract from it, try to go back to normal. But not you. Because somewhere deep inside, you know this isn't the end. It's the invitation. Stage 2, dismantling. This is the sacred unraveling. The letting go. The ego death. The shedding of everything you thought you were, so that what you are can finally breathe. It's painful, confusing, disorienting. You lose people. You lose roles. You lose illusions. But you also begin to find your soul. You start to hear your inner voice again. You begin to trust the signs. You feel called to certain books, teachers, experiences. You crave solitude. You start to remember what you forgot. And the more you release, the more space you create for vision. Stage 3, rebirth. This is when the vision starts to clarify. You begin to see how your pain was your path, how your difference was your design, how your soul was never lost, it was just buried. You start to live differently, speak differently, think differently. You no longer seek validation, you seek alignment. You say no to what drains you. You say yes to what expands you. You begin creating art, ideas, communities, movements. You become a portal for the future. And people notice. They may not understand you, but they feel you. They feel something shift in your presence. Because you're not just speaking words, you're transmitting frequency. This is where your true work begins. Not work in the traditional sense, not hustle, not grind, but your sacred offering. Because the visionary chosen ones are not here to copy what has been done. We are here to birth what has never existed. And to do that, you must reclaim your vision. So let me ask you something that only you can answer. What is the vision that haunts you? The one that won't leave you alone. The one that feels too big, too strange, too impossible, but it keeps visiting you anyway. That's not fantasy, that's prophecy. And it chose you because you are the only one who can bring it through in your unique way. But to do that, you must overcome the enemies of the visionary. Let's name them. Enemy 1, self-doubt. This is the most insidious. It disguises itself as humility. It whispers, "Who am I to do this? Who am I to lead? Who am I to create something so radical?" But let me tell you something. You are not the source of the vision. You are the vessel. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be willing. The vision chose you because it knew you would wrestle with it. It knew you would be humble enough to question yourself, but brave enough to do it anyway. Enemy 2. Comparison. The moment you compare your path to someone else's, you amputate your authenticity. You are not here to be like anyone else. In fact, the more unique your vision feels, the more likely it is that it's real. Real vision always feels lonely at first because it hasn't been normalized yet. So stop looking sideways. Look inward. That's where the blueprint is. Enemy 3, distraction. You already know this one. The scrolling, the noise, the endless consumption of other people's opinions, the addiction to stimulation. These keep you from the silence where your vision lives. Turn it off. Go into the stillness. Because your soul is not competing for your attention. It's waiting for it. Let me share something the elders told me in a remote Peruvian village, under a sky so silent it felt like the stars were breathing. The world is loud because it fears what would happen if we all listened to the silence. What would happen if you did? What would you hear? What would you remember? What would you create? Because here's the truth. The prophecy of your soul is not about saving the world. It's about becoming who you truly are. And in doing so, you shift the world just by being. You don't need 1 million followers. You don't need a platform. You don't need permission. You need to commit to the inner voice, to the vision, to the sacred fire that refuses to go out. And if you're still watching, still listening, still feeling this in your bones, then it means you're ready to stop running, to stop hiding, to stop pretending you're not who you are. You are a visionary. You are a chosen one. You are a living prophecy. And the time to awaken is now. So let me leave you with this. If you died tomorrow, would the world have seen your true vision or just your survival mask? The choice is yours. But know this, the vision in you is not just for you. It's for us, for the future, for the earth, for the ones who are still asleep but will wake up because you did first. You've heard the call, you've seen the signs, you've remembered the prophecy. But now we step into the part that most fear, the part that separates the curious from the committed, the part where you become what you were born to be. This is the sacred mission, the real work, the embodiment. Because it's one thing to awaken to your truth. It's another to live it, breathe it, walk it, and still keep your heart open in a world that often rejects what it doesn't understand. So I ask you, with all sincerity and depth, are you willing to live as a visionary chosen one? Not just in idea, not just in private, but in action, in leadership, in love. Because this is not a path of escape. This is a path of presence, of showing up fully in a world that is desperate for realness, aching for soul, starving for vision. Let's be honest, visionaries don't have it easy. We are not promised comfort. We are not promised approval. We are not promised safety. We are promised only meaning. And in that meaning we find everything. So let's get practical. Let's get real. How do you live as a visionary chosen one in a world that is still asleep? You begin with radical alignment. Alignment is your power. You are not here to live according to trends, algorithms, or cultural scripts. You are here to live according to your soul's compass. Every decision you make, what you eat, who you spend time with, how you spend your hours either amplifies your vision or dims it. So ask yourself this every single day: is this aligned with the future I came to create? Not the future they told you to chase. The future your soul still remembers. Living in alignment doesn't mean perfection. It means devotion. It means listening deeply. It means being willing to disappoint others to remain loyal to your truth. Because here's the paradox: the more true you are to yourself, the more you give others permission to do the same. That's how visionaries lead, not through domination, but through radiation. We become so whole in ourselves that others remember their own wholeness just by being near us. So let's talk about how we lead. You don't need a title to be a leader. You don't need followers. You don't need a microphone. You lead by frequency. You walk into a room and the energy shifts. You have a conversation and someone wakes up. You speak the truth when others would rather stay silent. You embody love in the face of fear. That's leadership. That's power. And it's not about being fearless. It's about being faithful to the divine intelligence that lives inside you. But let's go deeper still. Because visionary leadership isn't just about how you show up in the world. It's about how you show up for yourself. You can't pour from an empty soul. You can't broadcast light through a cracked, neglected vessel. So your first mission is inner stewardship. Care for your body like it is the altar of your vision. Care for your nervous system, because a dysregulated visionary becomes a distorted one. Care for your heart, because if it closes, you become a prophet of pain instead of possibility. And most of all, care for your connection to Source. Every day, ask, am I plugged into the divine current, or am I running on ego fumes? Because you're not here to hustle your way into success. You're here to channel something holy, and that requires stillness, silence, surrender. The visionary doesn't chase, the visionary listens, and what we hear, we build. Let's talk about your creations. What are you here to bring into the world? A book? A healing modality? A piece of art? A way of loving? A new system? A new story? Whatever it is, it's sacred. And here's what you must understand. Your creations are not yours. They are through you, not from you. You are the vessel, the channel, the bridge between the invisible and the seen. So don't judge your creations by the standards of the world. Judge them by the depth of truth they carry. Ask yourself, is this a reflection of who I truly am or who I'm trying to please? Because your soul's mission will never fit into the metrics of mainstream culture. It's not meant to. You're not here to go viral. You're here to go vertical, to anchor the divine into the dirt of this world. And when you do that, something magical happens. You stop performing. You start transmitting. Your life becomes a frequency. And that frequency calls in the right people for the right opportunities, the right timing. You don't chase the future, you magnetize it. And now, let's talk about love, because it's one thing to live and lead as a visionary. It's another to love as one. The visionary's heart is vast. We feel deeply. We hold space for paradox. We love in ways that frighten the small self because our love is not possession. It's permission. But that doesn't mean it's easy. Many of us have been hurt, abandoned, misunderstood, because not everyone is ready to be seen. Not everyone can meet you in the depths. Not everyone can hold the weight of your frequency. And that's okay. Let them go with grace. Because the more you anchor into your truth, the more you will attract soul-aligned love. Love that doesn't require performance. Love that celebrates your growth. Love that supports your mission. But here's the secret. You must become the love you seek. You must hold yourself in the way you wish to be held. You must honor your own needs as sacred. You must stop settling for scraps of affection when your soul is royalty. You are not too much. You are not too intense. You are not too sensitive. You are exactly as you were designed to be. And the right people will not just accept that. They will rejoice in it. So open your heart again, not to everyone, but to those who see you, to those who resonate, to those who are also walking the visionary path. Because you are not alone. There are thousands, millions of us waking up, remembering, choosing to live from the soul, not the script. And when we begin to find each other, the world shifts. The new earth begins to emerge not from governments or corporations, but from conscious connection, from us. So I ask you one final question. What world are you building with your life? Because the truth is, you are building something. Every choice, every word, every breath. You are sending a signal. You are casting a vote. You are shaping reality. The question is, are you doing it consciously or unconsciously? That is your sacred responsibility. That is your sacred power. To live as a visionary chosen one is not to be perfect. It is to be present, to be awake, to be true. To live as if your life is your message, because it is. And your message, my friend, is needed now more than ever. So speak it, live it, love with it, lead with it, and never forget you were born for this. Not by chance, not by accident, but by cosmic design. You are the vision. You are the vessel. You are the voice of the future. And the world is waiting for you to finally say, I remember who I am, and I am ready. Now go, create, transcend, and become. Because the age of the visionary has begun.